Felix here, and welcome to this pre-morning live stream on the day where Nvidia will decide everything. That should have been the crazy title for this video, right? But I actually genuinely want to walk you through it. I also want to walk you through what I think are the 4 biggest buys right now. I'll give you the 4 actual stocks, and then a bonus buy as well. Explain to you why I'm so chirpy about the market, why everything is going so wonderfully well, and why I'm snacking on dulse, which is seaweed, by the way, which some people think is absolutely disgusting, and I think it's absolutely delicious. So, there we go. Let's jump straight into it. And that's actually wrong. Hang on. There we go. So today is the day where Nvidia reports earnings, and also Jack in the Box, very important. No, so the Nvidia after market today, PM. So this is a $3.5 trillion company. This does really matter. And you can sing that if you like. And 2 things I want to show you. One, if you go into TradeVision, and what do you see? You see here on the right, that blue box, that is the expected range of movement of the very stock. So if I may draw some lines here to extend that, the market is expecting that we're going to close out this week between, it's going to be approximate, $134 and about $159. That's the movement we're expecting. So we're expecting to either go up to 159 or down to 134. How do we know that? It's based on market positioning and probabilities, and it's available from the options market. Basically, you can see that data. Seaweed is actually very good. I highly recommend it. So is that a big move? Well, yes and no. It's $13. It's 8-9%. So it's not like a 20% move. It's like an 8-9% move. And I put out a video on Nvidia yesterday. I'm feeling quite bullish on this story. It could be that earnings get misunderstood, but I think fundamentally I'm very bullish on the story. That's sort of all I'm going to say on that one. But let me give you one chart that tells you a little bit about what people are talking about. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's a bubble, the stock's so expensive, how can it be a $3.5 trillion stock, blah, 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 right? And they're saying it's like the dot-com bubble. Well, there's a big difference. And that is, during the dot-com bubble, which was here, this was Cisco, which was, the internet. It was the future. Hard to believe. I know, but in 2000, it was that. And their earnings was this line here, which is 12 months, the forward earnings we're expecting for Cisco. So huge gap, right? Massive gap. And what about Nvidia right now? Well, actually, earnings are going up more or less in line with the stock price. So it is not the same bubble, because in 2000, these companies weren't making any money, and actually their earnings dropped. They actually went down, which is really what, helped to create the stock. And at the moment, earnings are actually improving very significantly. So I think it's a very different story. People who make that comparison don't really know what they're talking about. That would be my view there. Though you don't see that area in TradeVision, my friend, there is a little toggle down here to switch between news and options. With options, you can see that. We are going to put it on the main chart in some form or another as well. Just a little bit of a overcrowding situation we want to avoid. But yeah, you can just click down here and change it to options. What is George Walker? Wow. What did George Walker say that I missed? I don't see it, so I feel left out. You'll have to tell me in the chat. So I'm feeling quite bullish on it. As I say, the market might misunderstand something. That's entirely possible, but I feel quite good about it. I'd encourage you to learn how to spot the big, beautiful, bouncy breakouts that are about to happen on this stock and many other stocks, simply by watching the free masterclass I recorded for you, where you actually learn how to spot breakouts. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a rule book, and it's very predictable. Where's your cat? Your cat is called Bola. We'll say hi. My cat is lying next door on the sofa, underneath another cat on a hot water bottle. It's about 15 degrees Celsius here, which is about, I think, 57 Fahrenheit or something like that, which is quite chilly for our tropical climates here. And the cats are not having any of it. They're basically like, we shall lie under a blanket or on top of each other until it warms up. It should warm up tomorrow. I will take all your questions in just a moment. But let me walk you through a little bit here. So my stock number one to buy right now is what? It's Tesla. Tesla just secured $180 million Megapack battery contract in Arizona. That's just today. And here is what Elon said yesterday. He said, in 2026 at the latest, we'll have AGI. That means AI will be intelligent, because at the moment it's useful, but it's dumb, right? It'll actually be intelligent. Optimus, its robots, will cost $20,000 to $30,000. And at scale, it'll cost less to make an Optimus than a car, which kind of makes sense. Car's much bigger. And he thinks we're going to have 10 robots per human. So if you have 1 billion people, you'll have 10 billion robots, which is kind of bonkers, right? So monster product. Tesla's biggest product is yet to come. It's a startup. It's in its infancy. That's the way I see it. And yeah, there's some risks to that. But you see, a normal startup has a lot of risk because usually they run out of money and you don't know if management's any good. With Tesla, you know they've got lots of money and you know management is insanely good. So it's a much, much lower investment risk, I would argue, than a startup, right? That hasn't really done anything yet. Okay, so that will be my first pick. My second pick, and this might surprise you, would be crypto miners right now. And I'll show you why. Because on this chart here, this is CleanSpark, which is a crypto miner. And can I get a pen, Microsoft? So this here is, bugger off. This here is CLSK, CleanSpark. And then in purple at the top, maybe you have a purple pen, is what? Is Bitcoin. And can you see that there is a pretty massive value gap here between the two? Very, very significant, right? Bitcoin's gone up about 100% more than CLSK. And I think that's a gap that's going to get filled. Similar story would be Mara, which is sort of, similar beast. This in green here is Mara. And I'm not telling you run out and buy these. Obviously, go and do your own research, be smart about it. And again, the gap here between Bitcoin up there and Mara is about 100%. So I think there is some serious room for a breakout on these. We haven't seen it yet. On the chart, we haven't seen the breakouts yet. So I think it's still a little early, but I'm going to watch this like a hawk because I think it's coming. I think it's coming. And I can sort of feel it, but it hasn't happened quite yet. So stock number 3, it's fintech's finest. This is a SoFi chart, and that might not surprise you all that much, but let me show you what might surprise you. This up here is QQQ, the NASDAQ, right? Since basically beginning of 2022. So this is beginning of 2022. And look at how SoFi has underperformed the market, despite the recent rally, which is impressive. And it's another all-time high today, I believe. Well, I don't know about all-time high, but $14 something. The gap is very, very significant. SoFi has underperformed the market by, 40, 50%. And I think that's about to change with lower interest rates and student loans. Stock 4 is another fintech company. And again, we start here in 2022 and we compare it against the NASDAQ. So that up here is QQQ or the NASDAQ. And then this down here is PayPal. Yeah, it's still there. PayPal has also just entered the hedge fund VIP list. So they typically have a list of about 15, 20 stocks that's in most hedge funds, and PayPal is now in there. And I can see why. Well, they've probably all been watching our channel, haven't they? IBIT just launched yesterday in the US. Drew, yeah, they launched options, right? Which I'm very excited about. Bitcoin options at last. Yay. So I think, again, this gap here is not logical. PayPal is down 67%. QQQ is up 40% at the same time period. So 100% plus underperformance and a business that is actually doing pretty well. So if they pull off the advertising that they're working on, then they should be bringing in something like what Amazon's bringing in from the advertising revenue, which would be huge and would make that stock easily double, in my humble opinion. Now, here's a bonus stock, and it's US stocks generally. Let me explain. There is an interview out on Lex Friedman, a chap who does very long podcasts. I actually don't know anything about Lex Friedman, but he certainly gets some good guests. And he had Javier, the Argentinian president, on. And the Argentinian president, in the first month as president, cut 50,000 jobs, got rid of half of all government ministries, slashed 6,000 regulations. And everybody was thinking the world's going to end and Argentina will implode and it'll be terrible. But what actually happened? Inflation went down to 2.7%. They started at 17,000% inflation, right? It went down to 2.7%. So everyone at the moment is saying that what Trump's about to do is going to cause massive inflation. It actually won't if they massively reduce the size of government. And they're basically following the Argentina playbook. Now, why do you care? Let me show you one chart. What do you think this is? In purple here, I've got the NASDAQ, right? Looks pretty freaking boring, doesn't it? Where do we start? Beginning of the year. So 2024, beginning of 2024 is here. What do you think the green line is? Argentinian stocks. Argentina, which originally in Latin means silver. And it is up 132%. Why? You get rid of regulations, you get out of the way of companies doing amazing things, and the economy does amazingly well. Basically, if we all had probably 70, 80% less government, it's very likely the world would be a much better place. Obviously, the government disagrees on that, but yeah. So I'm very bullish, generally speaking, just on the US market. Anything related to US domestic demand and that does stuff within the US, I am very, very bullish on. Maybe with the exception of pharma. I closed my biotech positions rather grumblingly yesterday because I didn't quite put two and two together. And obviously my love for RFK is going to hurt my biotech position, and it did. So okay, so any questions you have, obviously put them out there. And if you think, well, the rally has gone on for so long now this year, we're up amazingly well, can't possibly make any money at the end of the year. Well, let me show you this chart, which again is helpfully in blue by the nutter who makes these charts. And I'm literally going to have to get two blue pens here to make the point. This is really moronic. So this is us this year. This is 2024. And so far this year, we've done tremendously well. In other years where we've done tremendously well, like 1999, party like it's 1999, we also did very well. What happened from now, which is mid-November? So what happens from mid-November to the end of the year? Well, it did very well, actually, right? And did very well here in 2007. And generally speaking, when we have a very good year, the end of the year, the last 6 weeks actually also does well. So there is every reason to believe that the end of the year is going to continue to be as good as the beginning of the year. TradeVision candles are broken this morning. Okay, appreciate that. I know they did an update yesterday, which it turns out apparently is not working, right? When you say broken, let me know what you mean by that. I know they did an update yesterday because candles weren't always showing at the beginning of the day, right? But yeah, let me know what the bug is and we'll get it fixed today, please, because I don't know what it is, but a couple of you have now mentioned that. If you can vote, then you can smash that like button. Thank you very much. 1,550 people, 230 likes. This is what it must feel like to be a Democrat or a Republican in California. So Yeah, this is kind of the, in summary there, that slightly confusing chart I just showed you, that momentum performance. So, momentum. When we had a good, very good year like 2022, 2007, 2002, 1999, what generally happens till the end of the year? Well, we generally tend to go up, right? Zero sort of being the worst case outcome there. So we should have a good end to the year. I think the Santa rally is still coming. I hope you believe in Santa. Yesterday's candles are filling in today's pre-market. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was not the intention. The intention was quite the opposite. The intention was that when the market opens, we start a new candle, whereas at the moment it was sort of not necessarily doing that. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, I can see that, which is definitely not what we want. Okay, don't worry, we'll get that fixed today, and push out a fix. I appreciate you letting me know. That's how we make it better. Appreciate all your input there. And seriously, watch the masterclass, learn to spot the breakouts. There'll be lots of beautiful breakouts this week. There might be some today. In fact, there are some today. I shared one with you guys in the mentoring community that we have already. Take you about half an hour and you'll actually genuinely learn the full rules to spot those breakouts. You never look at a chart quite the same way again. Felix will have to visit the cemeteries to get the likes, George. Is that what they did? And PayPal is not showing a resistance line. I love this. You guys are actually going to help make this so much better. Thank you very much for the feedback there, Doug, as well. I'll pass that on to Dev straight after this as well. R&R, appreciate you too as well. Nvidia 2X might be fun today or not. Nvidia is very volatile on earnings, so that's definitely something to be aware of. I see what you mean about the kernels getting messed up. Yeah, okay, not great. We will fix that. But yeah, C3 had a pretty amazing breakout yesterday. I definitely would be watching that one. Which I shared with you guys inside the community already today. Shall we have a quick look at the pre-market as well, heat map, and then hit me with the PayPal support's really moved up, right? The resistance rather, it's really moved up, which is very, very cool to see. It just means positioning has shifted up and people are getting more bullish on the stock, which makes a lot of sense to me. This was yesterday. Tesla, Nvidia, Google really being the performer there. I think Google basically giving the middle finger to the Department of Justice there. Today, not too bad, right? Tesla basically flat, Amazon half down, half a point, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia all in the green, but nothing major here. UNH looking pretty good. Let's have a look at some of our I'm just thinking about how we do this. If this chart's being funky, well, let's see what we can do here. Palantir is, how's it looking? Looking pretty decent, I would say. Support resistance here. We're basically right in the middle of that support resistance zone at 64.40, literally right in the middle of that zone. So that's good. That's positive consolidation. Volume was pretty low yesterday, so I wouldn't make too much of that yesterday. And yeah, we definitely have a bit of a candle issue there, which we'll get fixed today. Thanks for letting me know that. SoFi, Resin Force, welcome to the TradeVision team. What I would recommend you do if you join, there is a section here on the bottom right, I don't know how well you can see that, which says tutorials, and I would genuinely watch them because there are quite a few of them here that actually walk you through it, and it'll take you 10-15 minutes. They're really short, and then you will get a lot more value out of this. That's really what I'd recommend you do, and then obviously if you have questions, ask, and we'll make it better and better and better. But Nvidia this morning looking pretty sweet, slightly up, not monstrously, but slightly up, which is exactly what we want. Resin Force, you're going to watch all the tutorials? Brilliant. I've watched a few so far. And honestly, if you ever think some of them like don't make any sense or they suck or something, do tell us. Like, our intention is to make this for you and make this good and You know, sometimes if you are in something for so long, it makes sense to you, but it doesn't make sense to anybody else. So we try to get external opinions and a lot of beta testers and so on. So please let me know. Keine Untertitel in Deutsch verfügbar with 3 exclamations, says Anna. Anna, you could not be more German. In TradeVision, you have trades, beta version. When will we get it? Ha ha ha, yes. Trades shortly. So we're testing here and I just imported some, actually I haven't imported anything yet. Haven't I? Okay. We will have trade tracking. So we will have profit tracking. And we have a small beta group on that at the moment. We're still ironing out a couple of things. So that's going to come out shortly. I hope. Abdullah, you spotted a breakout. Brilliant. I love to hear that. All right, let's have a look at a couple of stocks here then this morning. SoFi looking very, very healthy at almost $15. That is our resistance. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't bang our head against the 15 and then sort of bounce a little bit sideways. I'm very happy with that. We're making a lot of money on that. Can you check PayPal? I can certainly check PayPal for you. Absolutely. Will mobile eye be affected by the new regulations? Yeah, it should be good. I mean, you know, if we have a federal regulation for autonomous driving and robo-taxis and so on, it'll be good for everybody in that space. Tesla isn't the only one. I just think Tesla is going to be the one that's fastest to market. But yeah, it'll also be good for mobile eye, I would imagine. PayPal doing sort of nothing, right? Going kind of sideways. But as one of you just noticed, the resistance has shifted up to $100. And in many ways, that opens up the possibility to go a lot higher because the market makers aren't going to sell when we go up. And it's also showing a lot of momentum that is very positive for PayPal here. There is a lot of positioning that's moving higher, which is definitely very, very good. So very nice to see that, right? So we have some potentially serious room up there. And if that happens, hey, we're going to make a lot of money. Which is brilliant. That's what I do this for. Now we now have 450 likes out of 1,700 live viewers, which is could be worse, right? I'm not going to throw myself out of the window quite yet, but it also isn't particularly wonderful. PayPal Leaps will be printing, George. That's exactly my plan, my friend. So they've already done pretty well, right? Because we got an earlier, somewhere in the 60s or something, when we spotted the breakout somewhere down here. And again, learn how to spot those breakouts. There's a link down below and there's a masterclass. It's free. And then you will never look at a chart quite the same way again. Have we looked at Tesla yet? I thought we shouldn't, but no, we should. Tesla is basically flattish pre-market. Where was it? Here it is. Yeah, 0.3% down. Not a lot going on there, and that's okay. The 350 is the resistance line. I think people are such skeptics, right? Whenever I put out a Tesla video, A, it gets less views than anything else. And B, everyone's like, oh, no one's going to use those robo-taxis and no, flying cars won't happen and robots won't happen and no one will drive an EV and batteries are stupid and, you know, all that stuff. That just continues. And then you see a video of Kim Kardashian with a Cybertruck with her robot and she's got 500 million freaking followers. And you're like, yeah, I think it's going to happen. It's just, you'll be late to the party. So will LLY survive? Yeah, look, I mean, we might want to start sort of a crowdfunding page for the pharma billionaires and just say it's going to be very hard for them and they're having to cancel the third yacht and the fourth chalet in the Alps and that sort of thing. But no, I just think there's going to be some pressure. Advertising may be banned on TV, at least in the US. That in itself might actually benefit pharma because they own the distribution channel, your doctor, right? Your doctor is a drug dealer. That's essentially what he is. And you might not realize this, but that's basically what he is. And his entire education is paid for by pharma. So the problem is just that they might come under pressure in terms of margins. If the government pays less for drugs, they should probably pay about 50% or 70% less for drugs. And that might put a little bit of a squeeze on them. And people might just realize that drugs are bad for you. And I'm talking about legal drugs, right? So it might put a little bit of a strain on that. But I still think companies like LLY and NVO and so on, people want to get thin and they don't want to stop eating. So, or go to the gym, God forbid. So I still think they're going to have a good run. It's just at the moment, the sentiment is kind of being pushed against them. So yeah, I would be very cautious in pharma right now. I hope flying cars will come. Yes, me too. Kim is harassing Optimus. Yes, I saw that. Apparently, he's filed a sort of, sexual assault charge because she sort of sat on him. Okay, let me see what you guys are talking about here. MSTR. Yeah, I think this has been breaking out for a while, but it's not really news, right? At this point, I think the question is, will there be a rotation from this to the minors? We called the breakout here at 144. I'd say that was a rather good call by TradeVision, and then exited here for risk management and then got back in at 270. That would have been a rather good call as well. And yeah, it continues to moon. It's just a little ahead of Bitcoin. So I would feel it's a little late to the party, to be honest. I think what I talked about earlier, some of the miners, I think might be a better opportunity here. Should I give you a quick recap on what we just talked about? Maybe I'll do a quick recap for anybody who's just tuned in. So Nvidia earnings are today after the day is over. That's of course the big one. It's gonna influence what? Well, definitely all semis, definitely all AI stocks, so including the software companies, and therefore pay attention. I'm a medium-term bull on Nvidia. You never know what's going to happen on the day because somebody might say the wrong thing or something. But I think they're going to do very well. Will there be a Black Friday offer for TradeVision? We have something in store, yes. We're going to make it fair, so people who are already part of it will get the same benefit. So don't worry, you're not going to miss out because you sign up now. I showed you this chart to basically show you that in 2000, there was a massive difference between earnings, which is the yellow line here, and say Cisco's stock price. Whereas right now, Nvidia and its stock price are actually, so Nvidia's earnings in yellow and its stock price are actually moving together. So Nvidia is getting more and more profitable and will continue to get more and more profitable. And I think therefore its share price is a lot more justified than Cisco was in 2000. Becky thinks this is some sort of weird service where I read out strange things. I know there are apps for that, Becky. Watch the masterclass instead and actually learn how to spot breakouts. felixprehn.org/get-free is where you learn that. I'll give you my 4 stocks plus a bonus that I would buy right now, and that doesn't mean you should, obviously. Number 1, Tesla. The energy business is completely underappreciated. I just signed a $100 million deal there in Arizona. And then Elon said the following. He said, by 2026, we will have AGI, which is intelligent AI, which means they can reason, they can think, they can criticize their own stuff, and they can basically do what you and I can do. And Optimus will likely cost $20,000 to $30,000, which means it's actually very, very affordable. And it means, think about how much is your car payment on a $30K car? What is it? $200 or something, right? So if you could lease an Optimus for say $200, ask your wife this. I know 90% of you are male, at least identify as such. And say to her, for $200 a month, would you have someone in the house who did all the dishes, all the laundry, picked up the kids from school, cleaned, vacuumed, and did all the chores, carried everything, and then gave you a massage at the end of the day? $200 a month, $50 a week. I think the answer will be yes, right? And that's where Optimus is going to come into every single home. Before that, it's going to come into every single factory. But yeah, I think this is a massive, 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 massive business. And yeah, Ram, maybe his timelines are aggressive, entirely possible. But I think, get the regulation out of the way, which is what's happening. I think that could happen. Stock pick number 2. crypto miners. So this is CLSK here in green, in purple is Bitcoin, and I show you the gap, right? The gap between the two is pretty massive. Another one might be worth looking at is Mara. Again, the gap between Mara and Bitcoin is pretty huge, so it might gap up. And then two fintech stocks. This is SoFi in green down there, and so this is SoFi, and at the top in purple is the Nasdaq, QQQ. From the beginning of 2022, SoFi has underperformed by about 60%, something like that. And PayPal, even worse, since the beginning of 2022 has underperformed by about 100%, the Nasdaq. And it has just been added to the VIP list of hedge funds. So most of the big hedge funds are now looking or owning some PayPal. And certainly Goldman Sachs is putting that out there. So I think people are starting to recognize what's going on over there. And then number 5 is just look at Argentina. Don't buy Argentinian stocks. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there is an interview out there with the Argentinian president, with Lex Friedman, which is super insightful. In this first month as president, he got rid of 50,000 government jobs. You got rid of half the government ministries, and you got rid of 6,000 regulations. And you might have thought, a country must have collapsed, chaos, right? So inflation went from like 25% a month to 2.7%, which is a lot more reasonable. They started with 17,000% inflation, by the way. They had a real problem over there. And the Argentinian stock exchange this year is up 132%, right? Nasdaq, a paltry 25%. If you remove government and regulation and get out of the way of business, beautiful things can happen. And that's a possibility for the United States. So whether they deliver that is another thing, but I think it's a possibility. Do you have an X account? I do. I show you. I'm just trying to make them all the same, but it doesn't bloody work. So it's Finance Felix. Can you see that? Probably not, right? Finance Felix. Oh, we're live. We're live here too. Look. You can watch us there too. That's funny. So yeah, Finance Felix on X, and you can follow me over there. I share a fair few things, not massive amounts, but a couple of things every day for sure. So I think we might have an end-year melt-up. Everything is sort of in place for that. So I'm feeling very good about it. Traditionally, when we've done this well in a year, we'll get a nice year-end melt-up. And that means what? More breakouts. So check out felixfriends.org/get-free and learn how to spot those very breakouts, because that's how we actually make money, right? One of my favorite breakouts at the moment is this one here. I'll show you. I've been in that for a while, and it's very nice to see positions when they go like this. FOA, I got into that here in September. I shared that with you guys in the mentoring community. We entered at $9.25. We're now at just under $25. That's pretty sweet, right? Another one we got open, which is a bit more recent, is Jeffries, which did I record when I entered this here? Probably here. That was probably the breakout that I saw. And then we went a little sideways, got another breakout. So we're also up very nicely here from, I don't know how much. Did we enter there? Maybe we entered a little. I guess we must have entered a bit earlier. I thought we were up about 20%. That isn't 20%, is it? Actually, no. So we must have entered on one of these earlier breakouts. I don't remember. But anyway, that's what we do here. Basically, we look for these big, beautiful breakouts, and then we make a lot of money. Johan, OnlyFans. I'm not on OnlyFans, Johan. No, I'm sorry about that. TradeVision, is there a Discord community, Matt? No, there isn't. There isn't. I think Discord is a hideous place. So we actually don't have one. We are looking at having a community within TradeVision that is sort of safe and secure and not full of spammers. But at the moment, there isn't one. I'd recommend you watch the resources, the tutorials. So if you click on here on the right, tutorials, then there are quite a lot of walkthroughs now through all the sort of features that we have, explaining how to use stuff. Walk through that, and I think that will help a great deal. Nvidia is slightly crashing. I like that things are slightly crashing. Maybe it's just dipping a little. You know, 1% or 2% down isn't really the end of the world. Can we see, yeah, it's down a percentage point. Nothing particularly to worry about. And just, it's kind of normal that on a day of earnings, a lot of people buy put options that can put a bit of pressure on it. And people are just sort of a bit itchy about what's going to happen. So they might just take some profits, wait it out, and then enter again tomorrow. Can't you moderate Discord? Yeah, but it's still like people come in and sort of spam and scam and then set up one in your own name. And there's all that sort of shenanigans that goes on out there. So I'm not really a fan. I think also Discord is made for gamers, right? Teenage gamers. So it isn't very sort of tech phobia friendly. So I think we're going to want to build something that's a little bit friendlier. We are getting more active on X. So follow us over there. Just search for TradeVision on X and follow us there. And maybe we'll just build a community on X. We might actually just do that. That might be a good idea. So there we go. So in short, feeling insanely happy and bullish, generally speaking. I think it's going to be not just an amazing end of the year. I think it's going to be a tremendous 2025. If they pull off only half the things that Argentina pulled off, I think life's going to be very, very good for us. We're going to make boatloads of money. And I thank you very much for watching and tuning in. We've got a video coming out later on today reviewing a lot of the key stocks that are out there. So make sure you're subscribed. Share this video if you got some value out of it, but above all, do something for yourself, and that is actually watch the masterclass. The link's down below, and you'll actually learn something insanely useful that you should have been taught, you know, at the age of 15, and your life would have been very, very different.